Fy faen. Slept well yesterday, which means I'm extra tired. So it works. It's way too loud. We shall do what we can. My editor there. We're working on pathfinding. Current issues. What did we write? This is ancient. Let's just run and see what happens. Movement works. Well, it kind of works, except it says -72 when you hover over yourself. It's kind of weird. And here, right, we have this. Oh yeah, this is gonna, oh. Whew. This is actually gonna need quite a bit of work. I actually don't really know how to write this. No, I think we can figure it out. It's just a little complicated. Hello, Chow Chow. Because what needs to happen is... if we have a character standing here in the middle here, we then need to pathfind a range. And that range, let's say the range is 3. That means it's gonna be here, 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 here. Like that. I'm okay. I'm tired. I slept well yesterday, or tonight, I think. So that's why I'm extra tired. That's how it works. Sleeping well equals more tired. So now I need to recover from sleeping. How are you doing? But yeah, what we need to do here is... Insect! Didn't get him. We are going to... We're gonna set these sides as... What's the word? They're sections. There's another word when there are 4. But whatever. We're gonna set them as sections. And the top right section is going to be 1, 1. The bottom right section is going to be 1, minus 1. Bottom left is going to be -1, -1. And this is going to be -1, 1, right? And the reason for that is... Oh, insect. Got him. Smashed him against my monitor. Fuck you. The reason for this is because we need to find the outer side. Oh man, no, this is so complicated, man. Fuck me. Okay, there has to be multiple steps. It's like I said, and then we take the range, which is 3, and then we... First we do 3 in the y and 0 in the x. And then we multiply the range by this side's values. So here is 1, 1, which means we just go 3 up, 0 to the right. And this is our first point to Pathfind 2. And then we do the same thing, but we reduce the y by 1 and we move it over to the x, right? That's how we move it diagonally here. So here we're checking 1, 2 multiplied by 1, 1. Here we're checking 2, 1 multiplied by 1, 1. 3, 0 multiplied by 1, 1. And then down here we do the same thing, except it's 3, 0 multiplied by 1 minus 1. So we go down here. This is now our target. And here it's going to be times -1 minus 1. So then we start here, then we go up here. Had a tummy ache last night, did not get sick though. No rummy ache today, which is good. Had fun PvPing in Citadel in ESO and had fun playing Nolva's Skyrim mod pack. Just the Nolva's Skyrim mod pack do. Does it actually change the game in any meaningful way? Now the issue here comes with the fact that this needs to function when an object is this size. And what happens when an object is of this size is that the range is still 3. So the range now looks like this, right? And that means the same logic doesn't apply. So what's going to happen here is that we have to do this by adding another layer where we go through the outer edges here to generate this kind of, because here we have to check, like, as long as we are not at the edge here, we need to just do the first step, which is 0, 3. You know, just check the y. And then here we need to just check the y. If this was even bigger like this, it would be just check the y until we reach this edge. And then it would go down until it reaches here, and then it would start checking here, and then down here, you know, until it's gone all the way around. But this is just to determine, like, where the tile is. Because after that, we actually have to pathfind from this tile. Or it's not pathfinding, it's collision checking. It's linear collision checking. So we need this outer part is what determines the range and the position of the target tile. But this inner one will determine where to check from. And now we end up with this here. Which I don't remember if I had a solution for that. But I think it's not as bad as it looks. Because this here is gonna be... it might be like that. Not sure. You can become a lich instead of a vampire or werewolf doing a quest line that takes you to Evermore in High Rock. Huh? I haven't really looked at that mod. But how do we solve this? Okay, so 56.3. Oh, I am doing LOT Discord is age restricted. Wait, really? That might be true, because we do have NSFW stuff in there in some channels for people who want to post stuff like that. It's called quarantine. So the entire server becomes adult, and then you have to prove that you're not 10 years old, because otherwise the children will die. Just the channel? That doesn't even make any sense. Legends of Terrestria VG? It does say age-restricted channel. Yeah. Now, there are more age-restricted channels, but you probably didn't click all of them. I don't. Well, just verify your ID. What do you have to hide? You're not a... You're not some kind of criminal, are you? I'm glad I live in America and not anywhere in Europe. Well, everything's got its up and downsides. Hate these unskilled assholes who don't know how to operate a computer, constantly making the internet worse. Yeah. I think it's so funny to me because I see people, like, not to make this all political, but like I see people brag about like how the UK left the EU and all of this, and like that makes them better than us in Sweden. Like, I want Sweden to leave the EU too, but then I see the UK just like doing everything that the EU does anyway, but like 10 times worse. And then I'm like, okay, the UK does not need the help of the EU to fuck everything over. They're good on their own. But yeah. Well, yeah. So we need to write something here. And this is meant to just be range based, which is why it's gonna be like this, right? It's gonna just be 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So this is when attacks and skills and stuff don't have a range. It's just a circular blast radius. It's not actually circular. It's just a range from the closest range from any point of the character, really. So it needs to be here somewhere, because this is the AoE. I think I actually might need to write like an entirely separate thing here, almost. Because this is pattern. This is for checking a pattern. So what if we just start here? If AoE, if area of effect, no, if AoE info, no, what the fuck is it called? if PF, no, not there. If PF data dot area of effect dot value dot pattern equals null. Then we're gonna do some shit here. And it's gonna look something like... vector... Let's go with a vector 2 int for now. Outer size equals pf data dot object script dot data module dot value dot tile size. If I make it a vector 3. And then we need a vector 3 in inner size. And that's gonna be new vector 3 int outer size dot x modulo 2. Then we do the same thing again, and then z is 1. Yes, good job, autocomplete. It's supposed to be 1. Because I don't want to. I do want pathfinding later on, potentially at least, to include Z. Targeting, pathfinding, all of that might include Z. But right now I just want to get it to work, so I'm just working in a 2D space. But the reality is we could have 3D positioning and stuff. But there are several issues with that. First of all is just the logical implementation of it might be a pain in the ass. But then the practical implementation of it will be a massive pain in the ass. Because, like, imagine trying to, like, target a bird that's flying in the air with an AoE that has, like, a single, like, tile target that explodes. Like, where are you gonna target that, and how? Single target is easy, you just hover over the target, right? And then if there's something behind it, it might make you choose in one way or another, like whether you click and then you have to click another time in like a list to select which target you want to pick, or like a scroll wheel solution, or both. But Z-axis has a lot of problems. The easiest is to just always say that the ground is what needs to be targeted, or a single target. That way you can't like throw blast AoEs into the air and stuff, and that's going to be a lot easier. Another way of doing it is doing it kind of like they do in old school XCOM or in Xenonauts, and that's having like a selection marker that has an actual like Z-axis, so you can. But that it's so clunky and unfun to use, and to play with that. I hate that. That's how the editor works, and in the editor it's fine, but it still sucks to use it in the editor. But alright, so this needs to be something like... Hello, eccentric Anon, how's it going? So here we need a for loop. Oh, it's broken again! It's broken! For loops don't work anymore again! I fucking hate this update. Like, what did they... Why? Like, there's nothing even wrong with my script. And it's like, yo, you want a for loop? Oh, you want me to like suggest the for loop for you? No, I want the for loop snippet. I don't want you to suggest a for loop completion. I want you to insert the fucking for loop. For loop. Fuck you. It only does it sometimes. It is the autocomplete that is overriding the snippet for some reason, which is stupid. This is why... And it should be less than... 5-hour bug fix. Was it a warranted 5 hours, or was it 5 hours to find that one small thing? I decline VS updates so often, I'm still on 2019. Yeah, honestly, I don't even know why I updated. It just asks me and I'm like, okay. I guess. Okay, so... So how should this work? This should be... It's like... It needs to be like a... This Y should be based on action to trigger dot range, I think. But it should be... It should start on 1 and it should be less than equals 2. And then this is X. So this is checking the actual range. And then I think we need something like this. And then we start at Alright, take care, ciao ciao. Outer. Hmm. Needed guards for duplicate messages and channel subscriptions to real-time DB. Needed references, erase conditions not removing players that left in the MMORPG before deleting their data. Reinitialized like 8 times because dependencies were changing a lot. Gave that a reference too. Then I used the wrong ID for delete player on leave instead of player ID. I'm not sure I understand exactly what's going on there. But using the wrong ID, that, yeah. Yeah. The kind of bug where it just crashes or something, those are the best. Because then you can just go and find it. But when it's like you're just using like the wrong data or something, and then something just happens, like it works, but it's just like it's not working correctly. Those are the bad ones. Hmm. So here, this should be outer size held dot y negative. And the range here should be outer size held dot y. But this only works. Hmm. I'm worried that this is only gonna work if it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 in size. And whenever it's an uneven, it won't work. And I wonder what solution would work for both. This is a math issue. Because this idea works, right? Where it's iterating through here. And it's like multiplying by -1 because it's in this quadrant. That's the word I was looking for. Quadrant. But if it's a range that looks like this, then if I check this quadrant first, which is -1, and then we go up here, then first of all, I've already checked this. But, you know, there's going to be a lot of rechecking. Well, not necessarily, because they've already been validated, so it would check against like which tiles have already been validated, and then it would just kind of skip this. But I'm just thinking like what logic could work here. Because here's the one unifying thing, right? As long as we are here and not here, we have to just check down, right? So if we are not at the end of the outer range, like this is not the outer range, this is the outer range, and this is the inner. Well, it's not the range, it's like the inner origin point, I guess, an outer origin point. So as long as we are here, this means that we are at, well, we would have to determine like how to. We would have to start somewhere. That's the thing. Like if it starts halfway here, I don't know if that makes most sense. Because I feel like starting at -1, maybe might make the most sense. No, not really, because you still have to go. I'm just thinking of some mathematical way to make it, instead of it being like, okay, we do this section, and then we do this section, and then we do this section, to just make it to go like this, you know? It's the same, but I feel like the logic would be a little bit different. But then, like, if I was to say, if I wanted to start at like -1 or something, then it might end up like being like starting down here in this corner, something, or like starting down here. And if I start at like the halfway point here, That makes sense. Maybe we always start at the halfway point. I'll be right back. Ooh. All right, I had a bathroom epiphany. Oof. So basically, there are always going to be 4 quadrants. So I don't know exactly how this is going to work, but let's remove the Z here. And that means that we're always going to be at -1. -1 first. And then we're gonna do plus equals 2. Plus equals 2. And as long as y is less than 2, and x is less than 2. So here we're gonna go -1, -1, +1, +1, and then that's it. What's this for? I missed the beginning. So I've written pathfinding, and I've written like linear collision checking, I guess. So one pathfinding is for finding a path, and that is used for generating a range that a character can walk on and displaying that range as a tile grid, and then also generating a visual path as a grid to show what path he's taking as he's walking, right? But what I need to do now is I need to do a similar system, but for targeting and like AoE target acquisition. And that can't use pathfinding, because then like an AoE will try to find a path around a corner and stuff like that. So I've written linear. It's just like a linear check. It goes around the outer edges and just basically ray marches out. I mean, it's just a for loop. It's not array, but I mean, array is just a for loop, but whatever. Actually, I don't know how ray tracing works. I only work with ray marching, so I don't actually know how lines work. But the crux of the issue is that our units are not necessarily just one tile in size, because we have a rather high resolution pixel art style, and because of that, if we were to make every tile be the size of a unit, first of all, we wouldn't be able to have like larger units really, and second of all, it would make like walls be immensely thick always. So I've opted for making a system where units can occupy multiple tiles. So units have like certain tile sizes. A regular character or a regular human is like 2 × 2 × 5 in size or something like that. So what I need to do now is I need to create a system where we can find a range for attacking. And that range is going to have to be something like this, where from the outer edges of the character, these are all the tiles. This is like a 4 × 4 size unit. If he has a range of 3, that range is from his outer bounds always. But then I need to find a good method for just going around the entire side and tracing all the way around, right? Or marching all the way around. I don't know what the fuck a trace is. I don't know what the difference is. All these terms. And then we have to figure out how to deal with this issue. If this even is an issue, I'm not so sure it is. But it could be. But that's as simple as, okay, if there are holes here, because we can check how many tiles have been like validated or invalidated, and then just find the ones that are missing and just trace them, I guess. And that's why right now I'm trying to figure out a way to go through this like quadrants. This is -1, -1. Up here is +1, +1. And that way I can just like multiply the range by the quadrant, and that makes it go down instead of up, and etc. But the problem is that this is okay as long as we have 4 sides. And also it has to go like this, and then this if it's larger than 2. It has to go just straight down for the whole outer side until it reaches the corner here, and then it has to go down until or at the other side there. But I want to figure out a solution that works for both even-sized objects and uneven, because I always want to, even if the outer edge is what determines the range, I always want to do the collision check from the center, because otherwise it's going to become, I think it would become kind of weird, and I guess actually I don't know if this is the best solution, but I feel like it might become inconsistent. So I would do the actual collision check line casting from the center, the smallest center that you can get, which for uneven would be 4 tiles, but for uneven it would be 1 tile. So it would have a central point. So, but when you have 4 tiles, you can say that, okay, this is -1, this is +1, and then you can go through each section using a for loop that has those actual steps, right? Like -1, +1, whatever. But here, if it's just a central one, I can't do that. So what I was gonna do is just do this, because it's always gonna have 4 quadrants, right? So we'll just always say that it's always -1, and then it goes to +1, no matter the size of the object. So this should be the base of it, and then I'm not so sure. And I'm way too tired to do math today. Thank you for the D's, Despes. Thank you. But it would be something like for X outer I feel like it needs to be a little complicated here. It's gonna have to be something like if int x outer equals if inner size dot x equals 1, then this needs to say 0. Else it's going to be outer size halved.x. And the limit is gonna be if x outer is less than 0, or x outer is greater than or equal to outer size.x. Does that work? You should be able to have ors, right, in a for loop. And then x outer plus equals x. Man, that is complicated. Because if the inner size is 1, actually maybe it's actually fine. Maybe this should just be if outer size equals 1. Because if we have 1, the thing is, if we have 1 and we divide it by 2, it becomes 0, right? But if we have 4 and we divide that by 2, then that's gonna become 2. Which is actually incorrect. That means we start there. When we should be starting there. So it's gonna need to be -1 or even. Because if it's uneven, it's 3, and then we divide 3 by 2, and then we get 1, which means it starts smack in the middle, which is the correct starting point. Oh, this is so hard. Because sometimes... Well, will it? Let's take a look. What am I doing now? We're always starting at half. And that's correct.